Good to have you back. Now, in a bid to avert a nationwide strike by the National Association of Resident Doctors, the House of Representatives intervened and met with some of the concerned parties. This is part of our roundup of some of the motions and resolutions reached by federal lawmakers.
In a bid to avert a breakdown of law and order in Okekura, Ilori in Kwara State, the House of Representatives has mandated the Committees on Army and Interior to interact with the Nigerian Army to ensure that security personnel on duty desist from harassing and molesting indigents in the area. In a motion considered by the House, the lawmakers expressed their concern over the state of the prison, which houses over 500 prisoners and 50 condemned criminals. The House has also directed the Committee on Interior to work towards the relocation of condemned inmates as a way of decongesting the Okekura prison.
The House is concerned that the need to ensure maximum security for a prison which does not have capacity to house condemned prisoners is causing the intermittent blockade and restriction of people living within the area from accessing the major thoroughfare that connects to a mosque and other places, as well as subjecting them to daily harassment by military and prison personnel.
The House of Representatives has urged the Federal Ministry of Youth Development to mobilize resources to equip and ensure that all youth centers in the country are functional. In the motion considered by the House, the lawmakers mandated the Committees on Youth Development and Poverty Alleviation to investigate the activities and funding of these centers. The committee is to report back to the House in 8 weeks for further legislative input.
The House is convinced that these centers, if put to maximum use, will create more jobs and allow young people to participate confidently in their communities, thereby building a sense of belonging and communal good, and also lead to the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goal 1, which aims at ending poverty in all its forms everywhere by the year 2030.
The Senate has summoned the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, the Minister of Communications, Adebayo Shitu, and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, over the reduction of the fine imposed on telecommunications company MTN. The Nigerian Communications Commission had slammed a 5.2 billion naira fine on MTN for failing to disconnect unregistered phone lines. While presenting the motion on the matters of urgent national importance, Senator Gilbert Nnaji queried how the matter was handled.
Nigerian Communications Commission Registration of Telephone Subscribers Regulation 2011 does not empower the Commission or any other entity or government officials to reduce any fine so imposed. The Senate regrets that this fine was unilaterally reduced from 780 billion naira without the input of the Ministry of Communication and the Nigerian Communications Commission, which constitutes a flagrant breach of this regulation and an attempt to whittle down the authority of the Commission.
The Minister of Justice, Attorney General, Minister of Communication, Executive Vice Chairman, Nigeria Communication Commission, Accountant General, Governor of Central Bank, Managing Director MTN, and all other parties involved in all the negotiations should shed light on the matter and especially to confirm whether the reduction was done in accordance with the regulations or the law guiding MCC. I think this is a very straightforward prayer. Those in favor of prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
An effort by the House of Representatives to intervene in a face-off between the representatives of the Ministry of Health and the leaders of the National Association of Resident Doctors appears to have been productive, as the chairman of the House Committee on Health Institutions says she is hopeful that the strike action embarked upon by the National Association of Resident Doctors will be called off in the next few days. This development followed a 5-hour meeting convened by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Yakubu Dogara, with a federal government delegation and leaders of the National Association of Resident Doctors Tuesday. The Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, says they have agreed to sheath their swords in the interest of Nigerians. The President of the National Association of Resident Doctors of Nigeria, Mohammed Askira, however, says the strike has not been put off yet.
We had a very fruitful meeting at the instance of the Right Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives, and we've agreed that we will restore normalcy to all our teaching and tertiary institutions, and he has agreed that he will look into all the issues, and we will reconvene on 14th of July just to finalize on all issues. But we have agreed to sheet as what and put the interest of the average Nigerian citizen up front.
We have not suspended the strike. We have constructively engaged ourselves with the National Assembly leadership, which we have so much reverence for, and we are taking the matters we have agreed to our members, and from that we will then get our resolutions by the Congress.
We've had a very fruitful discussion with all stakeholders. You can see that we had almost all the major stakeholders in the health institution here. So we are hopeful that in the next couple of days there will be a call-off of the strike. We are hopeful about that because we've discussed extensively, and the minister is here, the permanent secretary, Ministry of Health is here, and they are agreeable to most of the issues that have been raised, and the Honorable Speaker was also part of the meeting. Like you noticed, we've been sitting for almost 6 hours, and I think we should be able to have these issues resolved as soon as possible.
Well, so much for the relationship between the executive and the legislature, which leaves one wondering how the two arms can work together to deliver good governance to the people. Well, that's how we round up the program this week. Thanks for staying with me on the Gavel. I'm Lanre Lasisi. See you next week.